This podcast is not sponsored or supported by any business or organization. The views reflected on these podcast episodes are my own. Please be aware I am not a medical expert, travel agent, or any other kind of expert. Hey everyone! Welcome to the Eat, Explore, Love podcast. I'm Ashley. This podcast is based off of my blog of the same name, Eat, Explore, Love. It talks about the unique challenges in traveling around the world when you have celiac disease. Due to sort of popular demand, I decided to also record a podcast to delve a little deeper into my travels and the lessons learned along the way. On this episode of Eat, Explore, Love, the podcast, we are going to meet my other sister, Morgan, on this episode. We're talking about Quebec and the trip that I took her on for Christmas a couple of years ago, and I'm very excited to dive in and talk with her. She does not have celiac, so we will not be venturing into those particulars for the trip. Unfortunately, at this point in time, I was not tracking where I was eating so well. So Greensboro for this week is serving as the eat portion of the podcast, and this is serving as the explore love portion of the podcast. And I'm so happy to be joined by my other sister, Morgan, and for you guys to meet her. She is the best, and I can't wait to hear more about her thoughts on traveling and traveling with me. Maybe I don't want to know her thoughts, but that's okay. We're going to deal with that anyway and take it as it comes. Hey, Morgan. It's fun to be talking to you in the circumstance of the podcast.
Yes.
So, are you ready to talk about our trip to Quebec that we took a few years ago?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I guess my first question for you is, you have the luxury and the burden of being the youngest in the family by a bunch of years. So what inspired you to want to start traveling?
Well, our parents have always taught us growing up to go travel the world just outside of where we live because people are so different. So it always made me curious as to how other people live in the rest of the world. And also you and Brittany doing your traveling for school and stuff always made me want to do that too. So I've always been curious about what's out there and wanting to do it on my own.
So very nice. Very good. Good answer. So I think it's been a goal of mine. I didn't want, unfortunately for Brittany and I, we had to wait until college and studying abroad to be able to leave the country. And a big goal of ours was to make sure that you traveled a little bit sooner, and we started off small. I would take you into City Field and be like, okay, if you had no technology, how would you get home? And you'd have to tell me how, from where we were, how you'd have to get home, which you never did well on. But then you started taking French, which we all took French. I'm very confused as to why you also decided to take French, but you want to speak to that?
Mom wanted all of us to take it.
Yet none of us speak it to each other, so that's fun.
Yeah, no.
But we should try. We should mess with everybody at the next family affair and just start speaking French to one another.
I think we would just get confused talking to each other. So.
But we're speaking in French, so no one would know we're confused.
Yeah, I guess so.
So I wanted to plan a trip for you and warm up, because I didn't think Mom and Dad would let me just take you to Europe out of nowhere. So we made a pitch to them, and we had a whole European trip planned out. But we said, we could do baby steps and try out Quebec, and that way we're doing a city with a foreign language it's spoken. It's not just English, it's French too. And you also are a soccer player, so it makes planning trips a little bit difficult. So I think a little getaway after Christmas to Quebec was the thing that we did. So I know that you're not typically a cold weather person, but
not at all.
So what are the trips that you normally, like, what are the trips that are on your bucket list that you would like to take in the future?
Honestly, anywhere in Europe. I mean, Australia has always seemed like a nice place to go to. I don't know, just really anywhere. I do not like the cold at all. So Canada in December was interesting, to say the least. But, I mean, I would do it again if we had the chance to go. So It wasn't that terrible, but...
We have a lot of fun stories to share because of how cold it was, which we'll get into.
Definitely.
So I gave it to you as like a little Christmas present of this trip to Quebec. What were your initial thoughts about that?
Like going to Canada?
Yeah, getting to go to Quebec in particular.
Well, I'd never been to another country before, so I was very excited to just get out of the United States. It also made me feel better that it was Canada, so it wasn't too far. Like, I wasn't in another continent. I was still kind of close to home. Mm-hmm. I mean, we had gone to, like, Niagara Falls when we were younger, but I was excited to go to Quebec and try out my French. Told my French teacher about it. So I was... that definitely tested my skills a lot. Trying different foods, seeing, like, the culture that's there. Also seeing how cool it is, how they live, especially with how low the temperatures get there. Mm-hmm. I was also excited to see. But yeah.
So do we want to just get into the trip? I was, by the way, super surprised. And another reason why I wanted to just take you to Quebec for a little couple of days, to your point, I didn't know how our personalities were going to gel, because I know that you and I get along, but it's a very different thing of it being just me and you day in, day out for a couple of days on end. And I could imagine that could be quite overwhelming if you decided that you hated me. If we were at a week-long getaway on another continent and you had no one else to talk to. So I think that was a good starter trip for the both of us. And I think that's my lesson from Quebec, is how much of a difference it makes when you have a travel partner that you get along with. I felt like it was a good experience. I hope it was for you.
It was.
So I guess before we get into what we did on the trip for Quebec, what part, because now you've traveled a lot since then with other people, not just our parents, and you've gotten to travel abroad. Unfortunately, I didn't get to take you to Europe, but you did get to go. What have you learned is a traveling partner that would be good for you to be with on an extended trip like that?
Honestly, I don't know, because when I went to study abroad with my school, I was with so many people, like, from my school that I also have never spoken to before. Mm-hmm. So I made so many new friends. You learn so much about people. Like, we didn't get tired of each other that whole week because they're brand new people. And if you got annoyed with someone, which didn't really happen, there was about 40 other people you could go and hang out with. Mm-hmm. So that was really cool to experience. And also just the past trip I went on with all people that I'm friends with, and there's parents there. And I mean, I didn't get into a fight with anyone there either. Everyone got along. I mean, all the trips we've gone on, everyone's been interested in where we're going. Mm-hmm. So no one's like, oh my gosh, I want to go back, I'm bored, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, definitely having someone to go with that's interested in the same things you are is definitely a big part of how you'll be able to enjoy your trip and stuff like that.
I find for me too, I've had to learn the personality types that I'm traveling with. If I'm with another person, like, I need to be with a person that can decide they either need to be in control and planning everything out, or they need to just be willing to go with the flow. They can't be going back and forth in between, which our father, I think, has a little bit of a hard time of deciding what personality type he wants to go with.
I mean, all the trips I've gone on, someone's planned out the whole thing for me, and I've just gone, which I don't, like, I genuinely don't mind that at all. So.
Yeah, and I think our other sister, Brittany, likes to plan as well. So I've learned with her, and I'm going on a trip. Whenever I go on a trip with her, I just have to chill out and go with the flow and do whatever she wants to do and follow her lead. Whereas with our mom, she likes to just go with the flow and not have to think about anything. And with you, you're the same way. And I just bring you all along for the ride. And you guys are pretty... I think that's also what's great about you as a person, Morgan, is that you're pretty much game for anything, and you're going to take it as it comes, and you're going to take it one day at a time. And you also laugh. I think it's so important when to travel that if things go wrong and you have to laugh through it, and you are the queen of things going wrong on trips.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a trip unless something hasn't gone wrong.
Yeah.
Something has to go wrong every time.
So I guess we could start that with our Quebec trip. Our trip almost got canceled completely right from the beginning.
Yep.
So we had, but I also think it was a good lesson for you of, you know, how to work things out if you're ever in a situation. And by the time you had to travel to Paris, there was a situation with the flights there, and you were just a pro in how you handled it. So I'm going to take credit for that if you watched my example.
Honestly, you just have to laugh it out because it's like a joke to me. It's like, what am I going to do?
Yes. So we, our first flight to Montreal, because we had a layover in Montreal, got delayed. And then but luckily we were able to work it out. We landed. We kind of missed our first day of fun, and I feel like I surprised you a little bit, and I surprised myself because we got in a cab, and I just started speaking French with the taxi driver, and you were giving me a look like, who are you? Since when? How do you know to do that? And I was like, I don't know. I didn't even know I knew that much. So I felt pretty cool when you gave me that look of you seemed actually impressed by me, which doesn't happen often. So then we took a tour. I don't know how much. We took this trip a little while ago, and you don't have the greatest memory bank, but we took a tour, and it was just the two of us on a tour. Do you remember anything about that tour?
I do. It was cold. I do remember that. But I loved seeing, like, the little town we were in, and every single person we came across was very nice. Like, said hello. I mean, I think we went into one of, like, the little cafes, and we got, like, a hot chocolate or something. And they taught us to always take off our coats and stuff once we get into the restaurant so that you don't get too hot, because then once you do, you'll end up being colder once you go outside, and little things like that. She told us about, like, the roofs that were there, how they're a certain way so that when it snows, it's easy to clean off. I loved learning about the little facts that they do there, which was also why I was so interested in traveling the world, because people live so differently everywhere. So
yeah. And then she brought us, the tour ended at a little town, which was really adorable and had all these little shops. I think Quebec is a perfect city for a weekend getaway. It's a very small city, and it has that little small town vibe where you just have one little main street. And
it feels like you're getting a lot done within the short amount of time you're there.
Yeah, and it felt like the perfect Christmas spot, too. It felt so Christmassy and cute, and it also was a good way to bring you into the fold of what Europe might be like, because it was very European, and not all Canadian cities are like that, by my understanding.
Yeah, one of the churches we went into was really nice, and I was just thinking to myself, like, if this is like this, I can't even imagine what it would be like in Italy or like that in Europe. So,
and I remember in that church, I have a ritual for every church I go into, and you were the first person. I think you're one of two people that know what I do when I go into a church.
I did it in Paris.
Oh,
too.
Did you?
Yeah.
So that was nice that I got to share. That's the first time you shared that with me. Now I feel even more special now.
Yeah.
So that will remain between us of the something special that we do in churches, and I'm sure Mom will listen to this and be like, "Ooh, where's?"
She knows.
Yeah. Oh, she does. Morgan.
I'm pretty sure she knows. I'm not.
But so eventually we also wandered around where we went to, based on the tour and her suggestions, part of that going down into the little village in Quebec, there's the breakneck steps, which we did almost break our neck on, and you just that's not why it's called the breakneck steps, but it just so happens that that's a funny little pun. But it was very steep set of stairs, very narrow. You could only imagine the people coming in from the ships in the ports and having to bring materials into the village, of how they had to do that, or still have to do that. And I nearly broke our necks because it was ice, because it was so cold. Mm-hmm. But we also went to Citadel, which there's a small fee for. I don't know if it's a small fee. There's a fee. And that's essentially almost like going to Fort Sumter. I don't know, Morgan, if you've ever been to Charleston and gotten to see Fort Sumter.
I haven't.
But it was basically the fort to protect Quebec. And then we also did a tour to the world's most pictured hotel, Fairmont Le Chateau Frontenac, which was pretty cool. Beautiful. Yeah. Do you remember anything about that? Talk about that.
I mean, it was huge. It was very nice too. They had the Christmas trees in the lobby, the little competition they had. And we got to see some of the rooms. I don't really remember exactly what they looked like, but they were nice. And a lot of famous people had stayed there before, which was cool.
Presidents and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it was a really nice hotel. I would definitely recommend going to see it.
Especially for the very important moments in World War II history happened there. And there's a famous picture of FDR and Churchill and other folks as well. And Morgan is becoming a little World War II nerd along with me. So I'm sure she appreciated getting to see a little piece of that. Did you even remember that piece of that with the hotel?
Yeah, I also liked how they didn't change too much of the hotel. Yeah. Because one of the things that I hate the most is when they change stuff of, like, historical things. Like, in North Carolina, when we go see the mansions, they'll change it up, and it bothers me so much. I don't know. Maybe that's just a me thing. But
why does it bother you?
Because I feel like I'm not... I don't know. I like to be like, oh, my God, like... I'm here. This is where other people were. Other people touched this. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just like having that. I love learning about history and people that were there. So when people change it, it feels like that magical touch that's there is gone. I don't know. Yeah.
And then we had a really crazy experience. I made a huge miscalculation and misstep. In this part of booking the trip. I thought we were doing, which we did see it as we were walking through the city of Quebec. There was like a nice slide where people were sitting on a tube and it was cute and whatever. I accidentally booked the tubing experience at like a proper ski lodge where you needed to be in the getup.
No equipment?
Yeah. And Morgan and I show up in our leggings and thermal socks and boots. Like, we were prepared to be walking out in the snow, but we were not prepared for like the mountains
and being wet from the snow. Like, I mean, it was so fun, but I have never felt cold like that before in my life.
So we go up, there was a long line. The first time it was fine. We were fine. And then we went up, we were like, okay, do you want to go up a second time? And you were like, yeah, let's do it. And then we went up a second time, and do you want to explain what happened?
You can.
The sun, because you don't remember. The sun, no, you blocked it out.
I do, it's just, I just have PTSD, honestly.
So the sun started to go down, and that meant any resemblance of heat was gone. And it was starting to go away. So people were starting to give us weird looks. The later it got in the day, I think we were waiting for like a good hour. And obviously,
the second time we went up took forever.
Yes. And we were keeping ourselves, I think it was like the last half hour before we were getting up to the line. We were like, okay, I'm actually starting to struggle now. And then we get up to the front of the line and we made the entire staff hella concerned. We showed up in the outfit and what we were wearing. And it was an innocent mistake, and I learned my lesson and what it all means, because I wore the outfit I always wear for stuff like that, because I'm never doing it in such intense ways when I'm like, oh, I'm sitting on like a swimmy thing and I'm going down a hill. That's what tubing is usually for me. So I did it for the first time and I didn't know any better. And I'm not great with research. But so I'm sorry. I nearly got, and the guy kept checking Morgan's feet, wanting to see that she wasn't losing her toes. And the guy said, okay, well, you guys have to make sure you go right inside. But then wouldn't let us go down the mountainside.
Yeah, like, just let us go and get in. They kept asking me questions, and I'm just like, I'm going to lie to you anyways just so I could get going on this. Like, what are you going to do on the top of this mountain anyways? And I mean, to get up onto the mountain, it, like, took you up, and you were, like, getting dragged along the snow up the mountain.
Yes.
And I'm in cotton pants, so now I'm wet, because at first I missed my tube and just fell off. And I was just wet. My feet were gone. And it got to the point where you were so cold you didn't even feel anything anymore.
That's where we were at.
Got to the point, no, we passed it. And then it just hurt.
Which, the hurt for me didn't come. So they finally let us down. And then we ran into the establishment, and that's when the pain came, because then I got hit with like normal temperature air, and the feeling of the air just hurt. And we just took everything that we could off without like getting inappropriate in front of people.
Well, I mean, it was painful to even take your shoes off, like anything off, because we were so cold. And it was so hard. You just wanted to like defrost, but you couldn't. Yeah. It was like you can't go straight into the shower when you're cold because it hurts. Yeah. You have to like, wait it out.
People are I'm going to get canceled for this episode because of the story. I will never. But yes, I'm not very good at understanding my body in the cold, because even when I went to Bucharest and it was snowing there, I did not come equipped with the proper coats. I didn't have gloves. I didn't have the proper shoes. I had to buy all of that in Bucharest because I haven't spent a proper winter with snow in quite a long time. So when I have to encounter snow, I have to relearn how to function. And I haven't quite gotten there yet, but you were fine. Luckily, I wasn't too concerned or thinking that you were going to get in too bad of a way. If I thought that you were going to get frostbite or something, I think if we waited another 10 minutes, I would have been like, we're not going down this hill. Like, we're going back the other way, and we're just going, like, I wouldn't have jeopardized you to where it became an actual problem. Just want to preface that I'm not a horrible person that's willing to abuse my sister. But overall, it was a fun time. And of course, Morgan went into the bathroom after that to do I don't know what. And as soon as I sat down and started like defrosting myself is when they decided to take all of the bins from all over the establishment out that one door for the garbage, and they just left the door open. So I was like, okay, I guess this is just my life now. I'm never going to defrost. So you were snoring pretty well at the ride home because you were knocked out. That did you in.
That whole trip, I was so tired. I don't know why, but it was long and cold. Yes. But it was fun. It was definitely fun and a cool experience. But yeah, and we also went ice skating too. That was fun.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Now this is your story time. Tell about the experience of going ice skating, because that was on accident.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I was thinking maybe it'll be a rink like we have in New York, but no, there's no barrier around this rink. It's just ice. And there are little kids flying around, zooming around. There's literally no rail to get from inside the building to where you ice skate when we had the ice skates on. So we were definitely looked at like, who are these idiots the whole entire trip.
Yep. And I can't ice skate for the life of me, so Morgan had to really take good care of her old lady sister.
Yeah, but that was so much fun. And then they had those little like booths that were like wooden, that were decorated and stuff, that were so cute.
The Christmas markets.
Yeah, I had such one of the best churros I've ever had in my life. So good. That was honestly one of my favorite parts of that trip.
Was it? What would be the other part that are there any other, or is that the favorite moment of the trip?
That was probably like the favorite moment. That was just like what do you call it? What do you call those Christmas movies?
Christmas movies?
No.
Hallmark movies?
Yes, it was like a Hallmark like type moment. It gave that vibe and that aesthetic.
Mm-hmm. It did. So it made you, so in spite of the tubing experience, you still had a good time and you still were willing to travel with me again.
Yeah, yes.
So you don't seem so sure. The listeners can't see your face, but you looked unsure of that answer.
Yeah, I would, but I would not travel with Ashley in negative degree weather again without being fully prepared.
So, speaking of what trips that we should take in the future, what is on your bucket list? What adventures do you want to go on together in the future? I wanted to take you to Paris, and that kind of got taken away from me. I mean, we could still go together, but I want to take you someplace new.
Yeah, I would go again 100%. I mean, I always wanted to go on the tropical vacation because growing up, we always went to places where you just learned about things the whole entire time. It wasn't relaxing, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. But I finally got to go on a tropical vacation like a few days ago, and I loved it. Mm-hmm. But I also love having vacations where you're constantly going out and doing things and stuff like that. But I always wanted to go to Greece, go to Italy.
Is there anywhere in Italy in particular you would like to go to?
No.
All of it?
Yeah. Go to a bunch of islands. I mean, I just love doing things. And so anything floats my boat, honestly.
I'm actually surprised you haven't mentioned the places that we've talked about a lot going to.
What?
Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Would you still want to do that?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't spend like a whole week there.
No.
Just stop there and look. But I mean, Europe, I said this to my French teacher. I was like, it's so cool. You could hit so many different countries in a short span of time because everything is just there. It's not like here where the United States is most of North America. So
yeah. I also would love to, I think you would love Portugal, and I think you would love Spain because it has that tropical vibe. I think you would like Germany for, like, we should go one year to Germany or Austria for Christmas markets. Being that you liked that in Quebec, I think you would really like that in Germany. Mm-hmm. So that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Would you ever go on a celiac cruise? There's one with Christmas markets now that they're doing every year.
I don't know. Maybe.
So let me ask you this, because this is Eat, Explore, Love, where it's talking about living life through the lens of having celiac disease. You are the only one that doesn't have celiac, that doesn't have that diagnosis. You have the markers, but you don't have celiac. So, yet, it could... Because apparently if you have the markers, it could be triggered at any time. What is it like from your perspective? Because when you were little, you used to eat gluten-free with us, and you were like, oh, I don't want them to feel bad, and I want to eat gluten-free with my sisters and brother. And your tune has kind of changed with that a little bit. But what is it like being the only sibling and one of the few in the family that doesn't have to eat gluten-free?
I'm thankful every single day for it. Because, I mean, you guys say all the time, I miss eating donuts. If you know me, you know I love my desserts. I don't know what I would do without them. So things like that would make me so upset not being able to eat anymore. But I mean, now it's just me and Dominic only eats like 3 different types of foods.
Yeah.
So there's usually never any gluten-free food in the house. Unless you guys are home, which I don't mind eating. It's something new and different. I'm not a picky eater at all, so I eat it. I just don't prefer it.
Yeah.
But I know, like, my friends now, like, celiac is becoming a lot more common, and a lot of people are getting diagnosed with it. So I have friends that have it. And so sometimes I'll have food with me that we grew up eating that I don't even realize is gluten-free that I'll have with me, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, you eat that? And I'm like, yeah, what about it? They're like, I just started eating that. I love it. And it surprises me. I'm like, oh, I forgot that this is even gluten-free. So that's also cool. And I can sort of relate to them in a way, even though I am not gluten-free at all. But, yeah.
I feel like you've had to become wise beyond your years because you've had to witness your older siblings go through so much with their health. And I feel like you're pretty good at advocating for yourself. And when you need something, you tell people. You're not afraid to be like, no, I need you to listen and hear my boundaries that I'm setting. And I admire that you were always able to do that from a really young age. And I'm sure the age gap is a big part of it. But
yeah.
And with Quebec, I don't have the list of restaurants that we ate at, but I feel like we didn't really have any bad meals, and you ate gluten-free with me a lot of the time, I feel like.
Yeah, honestly, Quebec was not the best food I've had, though.
Right.
I did, it wasn't, don't go to Canada expecting to eat good food. That's what I would say. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't, oh, I'm excited to go out to eat and see what we're going to have. You know what I mean? It was kind of just average, maybe.
Yeah. If you had to give advice, because I see a lot of horror stories on, Facebook groups and stuff like that of people saying, hey, I'm going to my sibling's house and they don't believe in my celiac and stuff like that, so it makes it hard for the holidays and stuff like that. You're a pretty understanding and cool person. What would be your advice for siblings that are watching their siblings have celiac and having to navigate that? Do you even have advice or?
Well, I mean, again, the big age gap, and you guys didn't get diagnosed till later. So, I mean, hearing how much damage it did to you guys internally because you weren't eating properly, I obviously wouldn't put something like that into your system. Also, when we would have to go away places, go to parties, seeing you guys not being able to eat for hours on end because people wouldn't provide food for you guys, I always felt bad for, because that's not the first thing that pops into people's brains. And also, you don't want your siblings in your bathroom clogging it. That's just, I mean, you may hate them, but you're going to be the one stuck with that issue later on, so.
To put it bluntly.
Yeah. So just have a little something,
so that they're not sticking around later because they can't go home.
Exactly.
Poor Morgan. I've been glutened before at a party, and then Morgan will try to make me smile and I'll just snap at her, and I feel really bad that I do that, but
whatever.
I appreciate your patience. So Morgan, we're approaching the end of this Quebec episode, so I ask every person the same questions at the end of every episode, and it's rapid fire. Do you want to go for it?
Oh God, okay.
Okay. What is your favorite food city?
Food city?
Yeah, where's the city with the best food in your opinion? There we go. That's how I was trying to phrase it.
Well, this is basic, but like New York always has great food. But for where I've traveled, I'd say probably Paris, but I haven't really traveled that much outside of the country, so that's also very narrow.
But you're getting there. You're getting bougie.
Yeah.
I don't think you answered my question before. Would you do a celiac cruise if it was at a location that you were interested in?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. And you could eat at if we were on an ocean boat, you could go other places. You don't have to eat, in the celiac dining hall.
That's what I was thinking as I thought more about it.
But if you're on the river cruises, it's still luxury dining, so you can't even tell it's gluten-free.
Yeah.
We'll talk later. We'll talk. Do you prefer a vacation that requires you to be active or relax?
I'd say active.
Really? I thought you were going to say relax because you're a beach girl.
But even though the beach, there's still so many things to do. Tubing, paddle boarding, zip lining, there's so, I'd say active.
And where is the city that you learned the most about yourself?
Definitely Paris.
Okay. I like being able to interview you. I'm learning so much about you. Morgan's a typical teenager and doesn't like to talk to us anymore. So I'm learning so much.
Well, because, I was on my own, in Paris. I had no family, no mom to be there to remind me to do things. I was there for a week. I had to remember to do things on my own, and it was my first experience. And even though I wasn't technically with my school, but I got to go off with my friends. You got to do your own thing. It was kind of like you were an adult, which I thought was really cool. So I would say that.
I'm very proud of you, Morgan. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's all the questions. That's all I'm going to bother you with about Quebec. So thank you for joining me. This was awesome. And you'll have to come back as we do more traveling together.
Mm-hmm.
I
definitely will.
I'm going to have it hold for a second. Do you have anything to say about Greensboro?
Not really.
Okay, so you want to just do the Quebec episode and that be it?
Yeah, because there wasn't really that much to it.
Okay, I'm going to... I just want to say a big, huge thank you to my sister Morgan for being willing to sit down and meet with me. I know as she's approaching her last year of high school that she is quite the busy bee. So the fact that she made time to talk with me, I'm super thankful for. And I'm sure she'll be back because we're going to be doing all sorts of adventures together because she will never say no to a free vacation. Thank you guys so much for listening. Till next time. Thank you for joining me this week for all the fun journeys and lessons learned on my big adventure called life. For more information on the different cities discussed, check out the blog posts on hieatexplorelove.com, posted every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you have any questions or fun stories to share, feel free to reach out at hieatexplorelove@gmail.com. Until next week, remember to eat well, explore the world, and love yourself. See you next time. This episode is produced, scripted, and edited by me, Ashley. Special thanks to Sarah Mientka.